Apologies! Hello everybody, welcome back to my Scream review series. Now, clearly in this one we're talking about Scream 2. Commentary is all about sequels, obviously, and as well as college. I thought we would start off with talking about the opening kill. It's not a favorite scene of mine. I like the opening kill, it's good, I just don't really care about it. I guess the reason why I don't really care much about it is because it's a little too exaggerated in my opinion. Like, the crowd for the new Stab movie is just going wild in the theater. And so I'm finding it a little hard to believe that there would be a giant crowd dressed up as Ghostface, like freaking out already, because like, I don't know, they just learned about this not too long ago. And the first two kills are pretty interesting. I question whether Ghostface is able to stab the wall of the stall in the bathroom all the way clean through to the guy's head. It seems a little unrealistic. But then again, we could just suspend all disbelief like we usually do in the Stab I meant Scream franchise. Now for Marine's kill, that was an interesting one. I did really enjoy that one. She goes up to the front of the film or whatever and she's all stabbed up after Ghostface sits down and stabs her. And all these people just thought that it was a part of a gimmick. So that made sense to me and that was interesting. Now, I did enjoy the introduction of the Stab movie in this film though, because it's really just bringing all that meta-ness out in this film. We had a lot of meta in the first film, but really just commenting on your own film franchise within your film is genius. Alright, fast forward to my very first favorite scene of the film would be Randy's film class.
Let me tell you about reality, Mickey. I lived through this, okay? Life is life. It doesn't imitate anything.
Come on, Randy.
When I saw Buffy, Cece, I was so excited. Growing up, I was a giant Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. I would rewatch the show multiple times. And Sarah Michelle Gellar is just amazing in her work. I don't think I've ever hated any of her roles or anything she was in, actually. I also want to point out how much I loved Randy's confidence in this scene. He's in his element. He's in a class where he feels like himself. Everyone around him is a film geek, just like him. A lot of us don't really get those moments in life unless we go to college or we go to work and we have a social group in that work. Most of the time as an adult, especially in your 20s, it's hard to find that group where you're comfortable in being yourself and talking about the passions you are passionate about. It's ironic that he's so comfortable in his film class since one of the killers is in the film class. Fast forward to another favorite scene of mine would be Dewey's entrance.
What are you doing here?
I was worried about you.
I love when Dewey's on screen. Okay, I love it. He just pops up and I'm like, yay, Dewey. He always has this welcoming, friendly presence. And I just adore that about him. It's just great because, again, like I mentioned in the first film, you don't get that many guys that are like that in reality. So seeing this man on screen just being the best he can, doing the best he can, it's just so, it's nice. It's nice. That's it. And in this scene, he has his little theme song. Oh, yes. I love it. We all know it. So we see Gail again. We see that she's trying to jump on the new kills. From what we saw in the first film, it's not really that surprising that she would do that. She also wrote the book that the Stab movie is based off of, which, again, not surprising. That is her character currently in this arc. That is what she does. She gets the story, makes money off of it, continues. And I really want to point out Joel, her new cameraman. Love that man. Okay, he is speaking logic most of the movie. He's just like, Why am I here exactly? Like, what am I doing here? All these kills are happening, and I did not sign up for this. I'm glad he survived this movie because I would have been up in arms. We already lose Randy. Leave Joel alone at least. Watch till the end, you will see that one of my favorite quotes is by Joel. So, moving on to my next favorite scene, Cece's death.
Okay, Ted, you sound loaded. What's up?
Who's Ted?
Oh,
As I have pointed out, I love Sarah Michelle Gellar. Her cameo in this film really just warms my heart. I love her so much. She's amazing. I saw Buffy before I saw Scream 2, so I mean, yeah. And I noticed that Cece is the type of character who just has a good head on her shoulders and wants everybody to have fun but also be safe, which is really funny to me because it's a lot of the same traits as Buffy has. After she says that she is sober sister, I was like, oh, that is so Buffy. Okay, enough fangirling over Buffy. Stop it. Stop it. I really liked that they had Cece talk to Ghostface on the phone for a little bit, even though she thought it was her ex for like a brief moment. It kind of brought back a little bit of the homage to Casey Becker's scene when she was talking to Ghostface on the phone. Although she did find out like almost right away that it wasn't her ex or whoever she was talking to on the phone, and she got a little bit sussed on the phone. So we didn't get that like longer conversation like we did with Casey. We do revisit that scenario though in Scream 5, thankfully. I still like the phone call here though. It was a good one. Also loved when she called her friend on the phone and she goes, so we're moving on pretty far into the film. My next favorite scene is when Sydney and Hallie have to climb over Ghostface in the car. I love that scene. I know, I skipped a few things, like Cotton Weary's meeting with Sid. I don't like Cotton Weary at all. At all. I know he's not the killer, but he's so icky. Ugh. I also skipped the cafeteria scene. Listen. I don't care. I don't like musicals. I'm sorry. I'm not a musical person. The only musical that I actually enjoy is Sweeney Todd. That's it. And it's because it's a horror film. I also skipped the scene where Gale and Dewey are being chased through the soundproof room and blah blah blah. Yeah, it was really good. I like the chase. I enjoy when Ghostface is having to struggle when trying to find his victims. But I also did not really care about seeing Gale and Dewey together. I did get sad when Dewey got stabbed like 50 million times. And I thought he was dead. I was not happy about that. That hurt me. But he's fine, so it's whatever. It's whatever. The scene doesn't bother me anymore. Anyways, we're going back to the favorite scene, the Sid and Hallie's escape scene. That one I actually do sit in my seat and I'm like, every time. I know what's gonna happen, but the first time I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, no. Like, I literally thought he was gonna wake up. I really thought. And then every other time I watch it, I'm still a little anxious when I watch that scene. So that's why this scene is one of my favorite scenes. It's like, I knew that Sid was gonna survive because Final Girl, and when she was climbing over Ghostface, I wasn't as anxious. I was still anxious that he was gonna wake up and they were gonna like have like a little fight going on. But then Hallie had to do it, and I was like, she's gone. There's no way. She's gone. So when Hallie climbed over him and nothing happened again, I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. And then Sid and Hallie ran off. And then Sid's like, I gotta unmask him. And I was like, why didn't you do that when you were already there? I would have done it like in the car. I would have climbed over the seat, unmasked him before I even climbed over him. So when she was like, I gotta go back, I was like, ma'am, it's too late. You lost your chance. You had like 5 of them and you already ran off. So just continue running. And then when she went back and he wasn't there, I was like, Hallie's gone. And she was. It's still one of my favorite scenes, even though that part's frustrating. The part where they're trying to climb out still gives me anxiety every time I watch the scene. So I just realized that I forgot to talk about Randy's death scene. Now, I wasn't happy that he died. So it's not my favorite scene. Like, come on, his kill is not even iconic. He gets pulled into the van and he gets an off-screen kill. Excuse me? And knowing Randy, he's watched these films, right? He's watched so much horror. He should know not to get close to spaces like that where you can get pulled into an alleyway, pulled into a room. You're trying to convince me that a horror fan would accidentally end up in that position? Absolutely not. I come up with the most insane scenarios in my head. The most insane ones that probably most likely would not happen, probably like a 5% chance of happening. And he goes near a van that can most likely be a killable spot. It's not believable to me, and it's... So, killer reveals. Now, and they only have Mickey revealed. And then, you know, they bring in the boyfriend. They're like, look, it happened again, Sydney. Your boyfriend was the killer again. And of course, with the trauma she dealt with, she believed it for a split second, which really sucks. Because then we lost Derek. The intensity of when the second killer was to be revealed, man, they really were just holding you like... And then when Gail comes out, it is so likely for her to be the killer that you're just like, oh, what? That makes so much sense. They did such a great job with having her walk out like that and then reveal the second killer is behind her with the gun. That was smart, especially since this is the sequel and we barely know Gail. So it's like, yeah, I see that. The actual reveal itself being Billy's mom, of course it is. She got cheated on by Sydney's mother. Sydney's mother home-wrecked her own home and then kills her son. She's like, you destroyed my family. Your mother destroyed my family. I'm gonna destroy you. That makes sense. Makes complete sense why she went... Now the fight scene between Mrs. Loomis and Sydney after Mrs. Loomis kills Mickey is amazing. Sydney uses everything around her. She's using all these props on the stage to hurt Mrs. Loomis, injure her, anything, get rid of her, make her stop, and that was an iconic scene because I was like, oh my gosh, what's she gonna do? And I feel that the fight scene in this film between her and Mrs. Loomis just really solidifies her as a very strong final girl. Overall thoughts. Now, upon my first watch of the film, I adored this film. Upon a few rewatches of Scream 2, I realized that I didn't like the film as much as I did the first time. Still a great film. I love it on rewatches still, but I liked it a little less because there wasn't as many horror references I noticed. When I watch a Scream film, I'm looking for those horror references. I wanted to see more horror references. Still a great film. Always will rewatch this and love it on every watch. Killer reveals, however, were smart to me. Mickey, I don't care about Mickey. I'm gonna be so honest here. I do not care about Mickey. Mrs. Loomis, however, amazing. Amazing reveal. Of course it would be her. And I was completely caught off guard when she showed up. I was like, who is that? And then Mrs. Loomis, and I was like, ah, smart, okay. Alright guys, this concludes my Scream 2 review video. If you enjoyed this video, if you like my content, please subscribe and like this video. Turn on that bell notification so that you don't miss out on this content. And thank you. Thank you so much. So, bye.
I'm gonna go get me some coffee, donuts, Prozac, see if I can find some crack, Special K, X, not Malcolm. And I'll be back when you guys start talking about something a little more saved by the bellish.